Session. Thanks for choosing a non-technical session and a technical conference. My name is Iancho, and I come from Bulgaria, and I want to share some thoughts and first-hand experience about how open source initiatives can work even in companies where it doesn't make much sense if you look at it from the side. So my plan for the session is to talk a little bit about my motivation for this talk, then tell you our story of what we managed to do, and then summarize at the end a list of guidelines and tips that could help you do this in your own company also. So why discuss it? No need to discuss why open source is good. Obviously, if you are here, you're interested in it. And the thing is that dedicated initiatives of long-term contributing projects to open source within companies are rare, especially in service companies and companies that are from the consulting business. There are quite a few so-called usual suspects that do a lot of open source contributions. Some of them are the ones that actually their businesses, their commercial interest and their businesses around a software product. Others are the big IT companies that at some point decide that they will open source some of their non-core products or tools that they do. You also have other groups like the non-profits that actually help build the ecosystem of open source, like the foundations, like Linux Foundation, Eclipse Foundation, and others. You also have companies that actually depend a lot on some specific tool or platform that they use, which is open source, and they so much depend on this that they want to influence its roadmap and how it grows, and at some point decide to invest and contribute to its development. And then there are also the public research projects where, because it's funded by a public funding, you need to also make the results public, and if it's related to software development, the results are open sourced. So the question is, what if your company doesn't fit in any of those groups, and still you'll be happy to have an initiative for contributing to open source in your company in the long term? So tell me about you. How many of you do not fit, the companies you work for, do not fit in those types that I just described? So almost all. And how many of you that raised your hands have projects internally that contribute to open source? No one. Okay, good. So that's the thing. Actually, if you're not one of those types, if you're a software services company, consulting company, even sometimes product company, you just are not like it's not normal to have something like this. So how can this happen? How can something happen in a company? Usually, for something to happen in the long term, there should be a business need, a business reason, a business case for it. So actually, this is the core thing. And because the business case and the business reason is not like obvious in those types of companies, like the rest of us, then it's sometimes hard to happen. I'll tell you how we did it. So in general, really high-level plan, a little bit more detailed at the end, but you need to have a business case, you need to gather supporters and feedback, you need to shape the plan, pitch it to the decision makers, the ones that will be responsible for funding. Start small, even don't start, just say we'll do something as a trial and we'll see then, and then continue and make it in a sustainable way. Very generic, sounds like, so what? And I'll show you the details of what we actually did. So our story. The company I come from is called Musalasoft. We are a software development company, a services company, 500 plus people, offices in Bulgaria and Macedonia. We do a lot of stuff with emerging technologies, with AI, big data analytics, IoT, and you see those areas. Many of the clients that we work for their innovation divisions. They invest early in emerging technologies. That's why, for example, we've been doing all those things that I mentioned, AI, big data, IoT for 7-8 years already. So we also are rather technology agnostic. So we have a lot of different technologies that we use. Our clients are in, I'm giving you the context of our company because it fits to how we shaped our business case after that. So our clients are, 80% are in Western Europe and North America. And the top 3 domains, business domains of our clients are telecom, the financial industry, banking, insurance, etc., and automotive. What we are not a product company, so we don't build products and sell products. We are not providing services that are around a specific technology, be it open source or not. There is no single platform or tool that we're too much dependent on, so that we fit in this category of making sense to contribute to its development, and we are not a really big company. So how the idea came out? This is my colleague Martin Momov. Together with him, we work on some of our projects, all of our projects with IoT and specifically Deutsche Telekom. And at some point, he came up with the idea, okay, we are expanding in this area IoT, and we want, specifically with smart home, we want to grow, we want to be able to scale up quickly. And to those who were in the previous talk, in general, home automation is not like mainstream thing, so you need to know a little bit different things. So no matter if we're talking about experienced or non-experienced people, in order to get into the area, there is a specific development, professional development that you need to go through. So he said, okay, instead of using our internal sandboxes with kind of artificial systems and projects and tasks so that on which we train people, why don't we engage with a real-life open source project and actually put our people to work on real-life scenarios, contribute to the open source, work with like multinational community, and see if it would be good. So he shared this idea with me. I loved it. Just looking at it from the training perspective, it wouldn't have worked. This was what we thought. So we, and I actually helped to shape it in a way that we can sell it to the management, to the top management of the company. So the context, as I said, was smart home and IoT, and the need for professional development and investment in people. So this was the list that I showed you already. And this is the how this potential initiative, which we wanted to start and do, maps to the core strategic goals of the company. So it is related to IoT, where we want to grow and where we have significant business, to smart home specifically. It's mainly Java. What I didn't tell you is that there were 2 good candidates actually for this. He had in mind openHAB, which is, I'll tell you a little bit about it, but generally those are open source projects and open source platforms. There it's mainly Java development, and in general IoT is something that is quite needed in 2 of our core business domains where we work, with telecoms and with automotive. So there is quite a good fit from the company strategy perspective. In addition, those projects are big and active, so there is a big community behind them. There are also companies that are behind them, so they are live, and it's not expected to, like, to stop being around at some point or stop being supported. The specific technology areas, also like OSGI, for example, are heavy there, and we had interest also to grow people with OSGI. No, that is not a big thing, but you need to get into it, spend some time. And this would allow us to both train people that are experienced to this specific technology on one hand, but on the other hand, this would allow us also to grow people that are less experienced, like junior guys, high junior, the higher junior segment, to put them in a real life project that will build their professional skills to a next level. So our story, we talked to our CEO, and we put it like this. So this is what we propose to try. This is how it fits in our strategic direction and goals. It will be an enabler for much more effective professional development of people, both experienced and less experienced. On the other hand, this will be one real-life project that we can put. This is back in 2016. This will be one real-life project additionally that we'll put in our portfolio from smart home, and we wanted to grow with smart home clients. So this will provide us better reputation. We don't want to do something for 2 years. We just want to try it. We want to start small, a couple of people initially, and we just want to see if it will work. It will also help with our employer branding and positioning. You know, what is the situation with the HR market or recruitment market? You are on the side of being demanded all the time, and the companies have this problem of how hard is it for them to hire good people. So the employer brand and the positioning of the company as a company that is that people want to go and work there is extremely important. So this was also an added benefit, because working on open source initiatives and contributing is something that people like. And also it will be a potential enabler for new business. This is the thing that actually could have worked the best, because one of the clear, one of the clear reasons for investing in some internal initiative is if it will take directly, it will bring back directly money. So we didn't fall in the trap of saying, okay, through this we will acquire new customers because we'll network, we'll find potential clients, etc. We said it might be, because if you put it like this, that there will be direct, tangible benefits through this way, and you fail, then the initiative will be stopped. So we said those are really important stuff, and by the way, maybe we will find new clients and new projects. But we didn't commit for that. So quickly about the project. As I said, it's related to openHAB and Eclipse SmartHome. So openHAB is a smart home platform and projects. I would say one of the most popular worldwide. Jonathan was talking about smart home. He did the research, so it would be interesting to have his point of view. But at the end, the talk is not about openHAB. So really, really popular, really strong, with a lot of devices being pre-integrated with bindings, etc. So a vibrant community, and I would say a mature solution also. It is backed by a foundation, which includes currently 11 companies. We're one of the first companies that actually became one of the foundation members. And very interesting, it's widely used by academia. So if you think about it, if you're an academic and you do research and you want to do research in the area of smart home or IoT, then you don't have a lot of chances of what you can play with in terms of software, because there are not so many open source solutions that are mature enough. So actually, it turns out that there are so many university guys and people from academies that actually did their researches using openHAB. So this to me is something that, and they, like scientists, they bring innovation also. So this is to me something that is also a very good feature of what openHAB brings as a result. And there's also Eclipse SmartHome, which is part of the Eclipse Foundation. The two projects are quite related to each other, and it's again related to open source, to smart home. And Eclipse Foundation, if you're not aware, is one of the biggest. Many people in the Java world sometimes relate Eclipse only to the tool they know, but actually it's a very, very strong foundation with a lot of projects, as you can see, more than 360 by now. By the way, the numbers for openHAB are like 1 year and something old, but these should be correct. So those are just the work groups, the project work groups, beneath which there are many multiple projects. So Eclipse SmartHome is within the IoT group. So what did we do after we got the go from our CEO? We started in April 2016 with one developer only, and one mentor, so one main colleague who was also the champion of the initiative. Then added a couple of more 2 months later, and from July onwards we had between 3 and 5 people at any moment in the team. So it was the process-wise, it was set up like a Scrum team with all good practices that we would do in a normal commercial or internal project, like issue tracking, code reviews, pair programming, etc. This is the team at some point at one of our own events, the Muffin conference that we do, and this is Mitko Ivanov, as I mentioned, my colleague that was the internal champion for the initiative. Actually, we did this talk 2 times already together with him. So, is all this thing that I'm telling you really a win-win-win? Is it a win for the community and the project? Like, did we make an impact in all those areas so that it makes sense to discuss it even? So in terms of the community and the projects, we did many things. So for example, our team created a static code analysis tool. One of the things with home automation is that involves also a lot of embedded development and things that live on the device. You use this BT as a home gateway, right? Yeah, so there you can use different devices for the home gateway. So it's very important to not crash things there, because if you crash one thing, usually everything crashes. So there's a rigorous reviewing process of every pull request and everything that is being committed. And there is a huge set of guidelines that people need to follow so that things work. And because this is a tedious work, actually the process of evolving the platform was being delayed. So our team, together of course with the other colleagues, but in terms of implementation it was mostly us, as far as I remember, did the code analysis tool that actually automated as much as possible of all those checks that needed to be done, so that the process is quicker. And it, for example, was a very big impact horizontally, because it was not just a feature or just a bug fix or something. No, it helped all future commits to be much quicker. The colleagues work on some, especially in the beginning, forgotten tasks from the very old times of the system, things that no one liked doing, because on our side it was like serious project. So we didn't care if this is something that we like or not, and we had those people worked full time on it. So we worked professionally and with, how should I say, with the needed diligence to what needs to be done. They did service integrations, device integrations. openHAB is integrated, as I mentioned, with a lot of devices. So they added new. They extended the unit tests that are available. They worked on documentation and tutorials. So in general, the team contributed a lot in many different areas, including areas that usually open source project had, let's say, challenges with, like documentation, tests, and things like this. This is an example of just a few screenshots, an example of results from the code analysis tool. This is some service integration that has been done. This is one of the devices that has been integrated. This is how part of the documentation that the guys did looks like. And this is statistics, I think, about 12 months after we started, of the impact that we did in number to the project. So also some feedback that we get, just again some screenshots so that you feel it like a real life story. Some feedback from the other committers and actually the leaders of the project, of the work that our guys did, like looks good, elegant, here are more, thanks, fantastic piece of work, etc. So a real impact on this project done predominantly by higher level junior colleagues and mid-level colleagues, led by a senior person. So concluding, I would say, to me, it's a clear win for the community and the project. Is it a win for the team? This is how the team looked in 2018 at some point. So this is my colleague that led the team. Those are the current members. Those are other colleagues that were before this list was done. We stuck to having like kind of a rule that when we put somebody in, we keep him or her for at least like 3 months, preferably 6 months, so that they can really get as much as possible from their involvement. But anyway, it was a dynamic team. So it was with kind of rotation, with always, at some point, we had always Dimitar to be part of, to lead the team, and also we had one core person who changed only two times. So before we did this presentation for the first time, we did a quick survey with the colleagues. How do they feel about their participation in the project? And you can see the results. So on the question, how do you feel about being part of it? Amazing experience, growing as a programmer, interesting, hard and inspiring, because they're getting challenged by really good experts from all over the world. This is another thing. When you're doing an internal project, it's one story. But when this is something also that goes public and that everybody can see it, then this is a different thing. So hard and inspiring, the best place for an embarrassed junior like me. Motivated each day. Professionals were all reviewed, my code was reviewed by professionals all over the world, and I learned a lot from them. We asked them what are the most useful skills that you gained through your participation. New concepts and technologies, clean and high quality code, big projects without fear, decomposing tasks into solvable pieces. I've learned to test my code, which is great for a developer these days. And also what's the most exciting part? Real devices. The fact that they worked with real devices thrilled them. Great to be with an open source project, the community, and meeting and getting to know new people. So for the people, I would say again, yes, it was a win. It was definitely something that really made people happy, and the more important thing, they grew professionally and also as a culture. And what about the company, which is actually the most important with relation to the talk, because it's about the company deciding to keep this initiative ongoing. In terms of professional development of people, it was full success, total success. Actually, the people that we got through this program proved to have grown the most related to other internal training programs. They were very successful with their next projects and got really good feedback. They got into projects where those specific technologies were needed, and it was without any problem. So in terms of professional development, it was full success. In terms of employer brand and reputation, again, it was a success because it extended our external exposure because this story is interesting, it goes around. Also, it's much appreciated internally. Our other colleagues that don't work for this project, knowing about this, feel better with our company. On one hand, they are happy that we are doing something like this. And yes, this brings also motivation. In terms of business, we are also successful. So we had quite a few requests around the facts that we've been networking around Eclipse Foundation, about openHAB Foundation, etc. We had contracted three new projects based on just the things that we've been doing around this initiative. Also, we got great appreciation by existing customers in this area, and also in other areas. When they understand that we do something like this impresses them positively. Of course, we broadened our capacity and expertise in those areas, and it allowed us to do a lot, not a lot, but in general to do quite a lot of networking and bring potential contacts also for business. So for the company, I would say yes, it was also a win-win, and it's in this way actually this is our vision on this program, that we managed to combine the positive benefits and results for in all those areas. So 6 more minutes, if I see it correctly. How you can try this, how you can structure this and approach it in your own company. So a couple of slides on strategy. The most important thing I would say is to put yourself in the shoes of the management. So in order for something like this to happen, you need to have justification that will ring the bells, and that will be meaningful for the company, meaning for the management. So you need to put yourself in their shoes. Make sure that it makes sense in the long term, and make the initiative aligned in as many as possible of the core strategic goals of the company. As you saw, I showed you what we are interested in as a company, and I also showed how this specific one maps to them. Also, try to align, because if it was like no-brainer that you should do such initiatives, you would have had one already. If you don't have one, then most probably it's not a no-brainer, and most probably actually a combined effect, a combined positive effect would justify it. So try to align the initiative with the goals of other areas, other departments, other functions in the company. So when you have this idea, talk to HR and talent development. Talk about those things that I told you that definitely help in this direction, both on development, on employer branding and reputation, etc. Talk to sales guys. Discuss how this, if you choose a project that is backed by one of the bigger foundations, this is one way to get, how should I say, access to networking and communication with potential clients. Ops and delivery also, public relations also. So talk to the other functions, and see how you can align. I think I had it here. Yes, approach them to advise you, especially if you talk to guys starting with, I'd like some advice, instead of telling, I have this idea, what do you think? Sometimes you can get direct rejection. But if you approach somebody with the request, I want your advice, I want your opinion, and then make them think about it, then usually it's more successful. So the other thing, start small. Actually, even don't start, just shape it as a trial, and definitely measure, report, and discuss the progress on all different aspects that you would expect benefits from. So start small, but treat it as long-term from day one. As a plan, do your analysis based on the strategic points that you should know about your company. Research and choose a few good projects that would map as good as possible to those strategic goals. Then talk to the guys, get their feedback and advice, and shape it in a way that you outline what would be the benefits in different areas. Follow up on the feedback that you would get, and then describe it. Describe it. Try to, if you get an ally, a colleague that will help you, especially from some business function, they could help you describe this in a way that it's, how should I say, it looks like a business case or a business plan. Not that it should be a business plan, but you should definitely start with addressing the points that align with the strategic goals. Be transparent about direct and indirect benefits. Don't exaggerate what you expect in no areas. And also be as transparent and as thoughtful on the expected costs and investment. So, because you will need the time for those people to arrange it, there will be a need to invest in this and that. For example, on our side for buying stuff, we almost didn't do anything. We just bought a few devices in some cases that we did some integrations, bindings, but more or less that was all. So create the plan, approach the management, pitch the idea, get their feedback. Don't be discouraged if they reject you. Be thoughtful. Again, approach them for getting an advice and opinion. Refine, shape up the proposal, try again. And when you have the goal, you definitely need a project champion, so somebody that will drive this initiative. It should be a person that is both technically savvy in this area, but also has a heart in both this technical and also the business domain, the technical area and the business domain. This is all red. The middle one, make sure you work hard on the side project tasks too, work with non-IT colleagues to maximize company benefits from the project. So in general, in order to make it sustainable, you should make sure that you get as much as possible from this initiative. As I said, for us it worked on different layers, and also communicate and share this information with the right people so that they know how the tangible and intangible benefits are coming to the company out of it. And yes, also be transparent on spend and actually what it costs. So what's next for us? We've been quite a bit of active on another open source project that is related to another area that we are interested in, around autonomous driving. So most probably we'll be joining a new similar project. We'll be doing a new similar initiative in our company. It's again within the Eclipse Foundation. On the other hand, for you, I guess what next is to just consider this. I hope I gave you some confidence that at least it's worth trying. I can tell you that it feels really, really good because of all those results that matter to me at least. And I wish you success and good luck, and I'll be happy to hear what you think, and I'll answer any questions. And if it makes sense for you, I'm not sure if the presentation files will be published, but you can reach out to me. It's a detailed, as you saw, slide deck. It can be used as reference, so happy to help you in any way. So thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions, or?
Yeah.
Whenever you were releasing open source projects or code, was there a review process to stop you from releasing potentially valuable property, intellectual property, the company could have used as a product to sell, or?
Once I understood the second part, but the first part of the question?
Was there a review process whenever people were releasing the open source projects?
They were releasing the code that they were delivering to the project, and it was specifically based for this project. We had no interest with this project, no tangible interest in any way. So we just had a team that was connected to the worldwide community of this project that got in. We communicated with the leaders on the, let's say, roadmap side. We picked important stuff that is being not done for different reasons, and we started doing it. So basically, everything was for the open source. Nothing stayed with the company. On the other hand, we are such a company anyway. We are a services company. So everything we are not building products for ourselves and things like this. So we are used to this. But you just think about it like you have 3 people or 5 people that work on a project that you don't get anything tangible out of it, but you get quite a few other intangible stuff. And some tangible also by getting new customers, because we did manage to get new customers, which we wouldn't have gotten if we didn't have this project, because this is how people connected to us. Any other question? One more. Yes? Yeah, please, 2 more.
So the way you had it was like a conveyor belt, essentially, of talent, where you have junior people coming in, and then more coming in after 3 to 6 months' time. How did the handover go with that? So was there a time where there was like 10 people in the team handed over work? How did that work?
Yes. So it's not exactly a handover when you're talking about such an open source project. It's rather a ramp up and onboarding period for the new guy. So nobody left the project without finishing what they're doing first. Second, in an open source project, you don't have usually this guy and only this guy is responsible for this area, and nobody knows about it. So you need to do handovers because there is some information silo. So you don't have this. So we didn't have this problem. What we did, however, which helped us and which helped again the whole community, is that our guys built a detailed ramp up and onboarding plan on the technologies, so that a person, when starts on the project, can quickly get into the details, to know the system, to know the technologies and things like this. So handover per se was not needed. Onboarding, yes, we did it through like trying to enable it as much as possible. On the other hand, we had the team that actually helped the newcomer work on it. And we had always at least one core guy and the leader, the champion guy, that could have been the bridge at any moment to anybody.
Okay, we'll go to the last question.
So it sounds like you work for a reasonably big company if you're able to dedicate 5 devs to work on open source. If you had to do the same thing again, but you worked for a much smaller company, is there anything that you would change as to how you would pitch this internally?
So it should make business sense. I'm also I'm technical and business. I'm combined. So not only to the CEO, to anybody that will go for this, it should make business sense. So if you're talking about 50 people, I would say the following. If you're a product company and you need to onboard people on new technologies, that it takes a lot of time, and instead of putting people, because when you get somebody on a team, in the first 1 or 2 months, the difference between what he brings on board and what he takes from the type of people that they need might be negative. So one thing that you can do is if you can shape a similar initiative that can do this, and I can tell you that they grow much quicker than if you put them like in this situation or on internal trainings. This is one thing. The second thing, if it's a service company, then there are times where people, like we live in a high demand world, so almost no people on the bench at any point, like free of projects, but at some points there are gaps. So you can maybe even in a small company start such an initiative. It might not be crowded with 5 people all the time, but it will be the place to go when somebody is in a gap of 1 month.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.